Oh no, they're back. It's another Creaky Gamers battle report. Warhammer, the old roll. Let's go roll some dice.
Okay, welcome to another 2,000 point battle report. It's the vampires versus the Beastmen. And we're at the local shop Hall of Heroes, which was very busy, so I'm going to have to narrate this battle because of the noise and so on. They had a Star Wars Unlimited pre-release, etc. The Black Coach has made the side again. One more go for him before I maybe have to bring in the Vargeist. Spoiler alert. The Black Knights reduced to a unit of 6 for flanking. Von Keith is now on the Abyssal Terror. He's got the Ogre Blade, I think the big one, and the 5-up ward save on there. Swing around here, there's the Graveguard with hand weapon and shield. And the BSB is in there as well. And the level 4 Necromancer with the Cloak of Mist and Shadows, so he's ethereal. Vargeist deployed there behind my giant block of skeletons. I was a bit lazy I just pushed the bases together and made a unit of 40 with spears. And then I'm trying out a little unit of ghouls out here on my left flank in the woods. So, the Beastmen. So, some vintage models here. That guy there is posing as a little Razor Gore, and there's a little skirmishing unit of Ungors, and a big block of 6 Minotaurs. I think the leader has got the Biting Blade, because he was worried about ethereal stuff. And there's a vintage Beast Lord in a unit of Gores. And the Beast Lord, I think he's got either the Giant Blade or the Ogre Blade, one of those, and so on. So that's nice to see that old model. I used to have that one myself. And there's the Cygor, planning to throw that rock and drop it on Von Keith's head. So nice looking Cygor there, standing on some skeletons. And there's the Herdstone, just scenery on the table. It doesn't do anything. And then there's a level 4 there in a unit of Gores. I'll come back with the spells in a minute, but we're convincing to put the level 4 outside the unit, which you'll see that later on probably. And some Chaos Ogres and a Giant out on his right flank. So I think that's the old Albion Giant or something. And another little Razor Gore at the back there. So that guy's posing as a Razor Gore. And the spells for the level 4, Viletide, Demonic Vigor, which is, I think it's it's a buff spell, and an assailment spell, Demonic Familiars, and Steed of Shadows. So that's his spells, and he'll pop out of the unit when we finish the deployment, I think. So that's it. Beastmen versus Von Keith, and Von Keith will go first. Turn 1 to the vampires. Okay, so I've just shuffled up a little bit. I've thrown my Vortex out in the middle there, and maybe put Van Hells on the Graveguard to give him an extra movement or something, but it's pretty much the left flank, and we're separated by a tower in the middle again, similar to the last battle. I didn't set the table up. I didn't put the tower in the middle. Anyway, and there's on my right flank, that's the view of the table, and the Black Coach is ethereal. The Knights have just shuffled forward in the woods, and I was tempted to go further, but Von Keith's just hanging back with the Knights. So I'm just a bit of a standoff on this flank. I don't know if he's going to come charging forward. We might be in trouble if they do. And he's got a nice screen of those Ungors. They'll be very handy, I think. And then into the Beastman turn. So again, he's a bit worried. He's shuffled forward a little bit. The Cygor tries to drop a rock on the vampire's head, but it scatters, and I think it ends up about 10 inches over into the table, about there somewhere. There should be a big dent in the table, or a big rock in the table there where the rock went. So not much happening on that flank, with a bit of a standoff. Nobody's sure what to do, but I think he does have the advantage with that screen. That screen of Ungors is very handy. On this side, I've got the Vortex, the Spectral Vortex, or whatever it is. I'll get you the name in a minute. Remember, it'll come up soon. And that's pretty much it for turn 1. Not much happened. So we move into turn 2 and no charges. I still have my vortex up there, and I think he might have even miscast when he was trying to dispel the vortex, I think. And I've got the ghouls are sneaking around the forest here. The Vargeist have committed that they're going to charge something soon, and my skeleton blocks have moved up. And then I've cast a debuff, a Hex, Spirit Leech. So -2 leadership on those Gores. His level 4 has moved out of that unit. He's behind them there somewhere. And the Spiritual Vortex is also going to slow them down. -1 leadership as well. So a couple of leadership debuffs on those guys. And on my flank here, the Black Coach is still ethereal. The Knights have made it out of the woods, and Von Keith on his Abyssal Terror is threatening to charge someone. So he's got to either do something about him, or maybe he could charge him with the Ungors. We'll see what he does in his turn 2. But that's pretty much a summary of the Vampire. And then I'm chuckling here because the Cygor decided to misfire and do a wound to himself. So that was unfortunate. So Von Keith's dodged a couple of rocks there. And then they've moved up, and the screen has committed itself. So either I've got to get rid of that screen or jump over the top somehow. But that's pretty much a summary. So as you can see, the Giant has moved up. The Chaos Ogres have expanded their frontage. So when they go into these skeletons, they can tear them apart. And the Gores there have offered a charge to the Graveguard. And over the right flank, the Beastmen have offered some charges there. Do I want to take them? Do I want to send the Black Coach in? That's the problem. My plan with the Black Coach was to get around a flank or something. I don't want to go charging in the front. But it might be good to keep it ethereal and pin a unit in place. So we'll see what happens in turn 3. Okay, so into turn 3, and my ghouls attempted a charge on the Razor Gore that was behind the woods there, so they failed their charge. Pretty confident those ghouls could take care of that Razor Gore. The Vargeist did a frenzied charge into the Giant here. One of them is touching the woods. Do you have to have 25%? I'm not sure if they end up disrupted, because about half of one base is in the woods, so we just ignored the woods there. And the Graveguard went for a charge here, and they failed to charge as well. So they're going to cop a charge from those Gores. But I'm pretty confident that the Graveguard can hang in there. And then I took the bait and sent the Knights and the Black Coach into the Gores, just to get rid of that screen. I know I'm going to get counter-punched, but the Black Coach I've kept ethereal, so he'll at least be able to hold the Minotaurs up if he breaks through there. And Von Keith on the Abyssal Terror flew straight over the top. I found a gap there, so he just went straight, marched over the top. So he's just gone over the top there, and then I can maneuver around and threaten the rears and flanks of the Beastmen. So that's pretty much the charges and so on. So we made short work of the Ungors. The Coach pursued after them. The Ungors ran through the Minotaurs, and I was able to restrain with the Black Knights and turn to face the threats. And we did a couple of wounds each on the Giant and the Vargeist. And that's the situation there. So we've moved up, failed a few charges, cleaned up the Ungor screen. And then into the Beastman turn. So the Razor Gore's charging there. There's all charges here. The Chaos Ogres are going in, the Gores are going in, and the Gores with the General are going in there. So here we'll have lots of combats. So the Black Coach is holding up the Minotaurs. The Gores are into the Black Knights with their General in there. Von Keith over the back. The Gores into the Graveguard. The Chaos Ogres, Giant, Razor Gore, so lots and lots of combats happening this turn. So the Vargeist clean up the Giant. The Ghouls clean up the Razor Gore. The Chaos Ogres are cleaning up skeletons. And the Graveguard push these guys back. And then these guys are up to that combat there. So there's those combats again. And you can see there's only one Black Knight left. So the Black Knights didn't do too well. So we move into turn 4, and lots of combats happening. The ogres are killing skeletons, the ghouls have broken through, the giant's gone, and the Graveguard are fighting those gores. And then over here, the Black Coach is just holding them up, and then the Cygor's turning around, spinning around, trying to get Von Keith, and then those gores have broken. So the Graveguard did pretty well. Many skeletons are dying there, and many Black Knights are dying. And as you can see here, eventually the Minotaurs had a biting blade on the champion, so they finished off the ethereal Black Coach. The Black Knights are gone, so all this flank has disappeared, and Von Keith has flown over to the other flank to help out there. So my right flank is gone. The left flank, skeletons are dying, but I still have the Graveguard, full Graveguard unit there. I'm not sure how these skeletons are a good idea in such a wide formation. There's many attacks coming from those Chaos Ogres into them. So, and those Gores are running up there. They fled from them, fled through Von Keith, took a couple of casualties as well. So the Beastmen are now going to turn their attention and come this way towards the remaining part of my army. So there they are. They've all turned and faced in their turn. I'm not sure if I skipped a turn or not. His level 4 wizard fled away from a charge from the Vargeists, I think, and he's rallied over there. And that's the situation. I forgot about the ghouls in the tree, so I didn't move them for a turn, but they will come in handy later on. And lots of skeletons. Even though I've got spears, I'm just not doing anything to the Chaos Ogres. He kills a few, and then I only get a handful of attacks back. So I have to rethink that big block of skeletons. They're doing okay. They're holding position, so maybe I can get there in time to help out the skeletons. So it was like 40. He's killed about half of them so far, and just keeps pushing us back. So that's pretty much it for turn 4, I think. So we move into turn 5, and those Vargeists went into the rear of the Chaos Ogres, and they didn't do much damage. The Chaos Ogres are followed up into the skeletons, and the Vargeists took a few wounds for their troubles. And then the Beastmen have turned their attention, and they're heading towards the centre of the table. They've cleaned up my right flank. Von Keith has swooped around on his Abyssal Terror, so maybe he might be able to help out in the final round. And he got hit on the head with a rock, but his regen saved him. So the Cygor finally got a rock to land, so he dropped a bomb over there, and it got a hit, but I think failed the armour, but the regen saved him. And the Beastmen are heading towards the centre of the table. They just have the Graveguard holding the centre, and then this combat with the Chaos Ogres is still going on. Then, with turn 6, the Vargeists, the Ghouls, and Von Keith go into the rear of the Chaos Ogres. And the Chaos Ogres mincing through the skeletons, but eventually the Chaos Ogres will break and get run down there. I've just got my level 4 Necromancer hanging out with the Graveguard, so the Graveguard are still okay. And the Beastmen have turned their attention to this direction, but that's the end of the Chaos Ogres are gone, and we've just turned to face. So this is turn 6. Not much else is going to happen. He's just measuring out some possible charges, but they're too far away. So the Beastmen won their left flank, and the Undead won their left flank. So it's a standoff in the middle. So obviously it's going to be a pretty close game, and we just working out if anything could happen. He tries to drop one last rock on someone. We reroll that. That's a bit cocked, and it scatters away. So Von Keith survives the battle. The Vargeists are still alive, and tallying up, the Undead lost about 400 odd points, 450 points or something, and the Beastmen lost 573. So we called it a draw. The Vampires did a lot better than they did last time, even though I really stuffed up that right flank. But that was the end of the battle. So a good, solid draw, we'll say. The Graveguard performed pretty well. The Black Coach, not so great. I should have sent it around a flank or something, so maybe that's my fault. But obviously, for 205 points, a Terrorgeist would be probably heaps better, or even another unit of Vargeists or something. The big block of skeletons, well, yeah, they're okay. They hold. They'll definitely hold a position, and then you could flank them with some Vargeists or some Graveguard. Just got to be careful you're not giving up combat resolution and killing off your whatever you send into the flank. The Black Knights, they're okay as a flanking force, but I sacrificed them to try and hold up that right flank. Wasn't a good idea. The level 4 was okay. The Vampire on the Abyssal Terror was okay. The Ghouls, I'm always impressed with Ghouls and how they go. So that's another report in the bag. So let me know what you reckon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this battle report from those great tacticians, the Creaky Gamers. Please subscribe. Those creaky old gamers need your support. Now go paint your miniatures and have a great day.